you can see here, this is 23 gauge vitrectomy system, and there is a drop intraocular lens lying over the retina over here. So first we are doing the core vitrectomy. This is an old style intraocular lens with the 3 haptics. So after completing the core vitrectomy, we will lift it with the end grasping forceps from over the retina. Here you can see we have lifted it, and we will bring it into the anterior chamber. From the anterior chamber, and you know this is 3 haptic lens, so we have to cut this lens to remove it. So we are not enlarging the limbus wound. We are just bringing it into the anterior chamber, and then we will make 2 pieces of it by the lens cutting scissor. Now I am holding the IOL with the end grasping forceps, and with the scissor we are making 2 pieces of it, so not to enlarge the limbal wound, and rather bringing it out from 2.75 limbal wound. So we are making the 2 pieces of intraocular lens, and then one by one you can remove it from your limbal wound that is pre-existing from the previous surgery. So here you can see one half, and then you can bring the other half. So after removing the intraocular lens, we have the sulcus available. So we are implanting a 3-piece foldable intraocular lens, and here you can see at the end of the surgery, the lens is centered and well fixed over the sulcus. So this is one technique where you remove the intraocular lens and you place another lens. So this is our second case. Here you can see the aphakic eye, and this is 23 gauge vitrectomy system. And here you can see the drop intraocular lens is similarly lying over the retina. First we are doing the core vitrectomy, and after doing the core vitrectomy with the same technique, we will remove it with the end grasping forceps. So here I am holding the 1 haptic of intraocular lens with the end grasping forceps and bringing it into the anterior chamber. So there are many ways of doing this. You can remove the intraocular lens. If it is not fitted, you can replace it with another lens. Here you can see that I am bringing the lens into the anterior chamber by the handshake technique. With the one hand I am holding it, and the other hand I am removing it. And then we are replacing the lens with the rigid intraocular lens that will be placed over the surface. So you can remove the IOL and replace it with the foldable lens if the surface is good enough. And you can remove the foldable intraocular lens and replace it with the rigid intraocular lens. So here in the second case I am showing how you replace with the rigid intraocular lens. So here you can see well centered placed surface lens. And here is another case where you can see the drop intraocular lens is lying over the macular area. The principle is similar. We do the core vitrectomy, and then after doing the core vitrectomy, with the end grasping forceps, you bring it the intraocular lens into the anterior chamber. But in this case, I will try to replace and place the intraocular lens, same intraocular foldable lens over the surface area. I will not remove it. Here you can see I am holding with the end grasping forceps and bringing it to the anterior chamber. I am using handshake technique. Handshake technique is that with the one forceps you hold, with the other helps you to grasp from the other side. So now I am holding it with the left hand, and with the right hand I will try to replace the same intraocular lens over the sulcus area. In this time I am not removing it, and the main inference is that when you are replacing the foldable intraocular lens and the sulcus, try to put the haptics at 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock position, because it will give the good centration. But the wisdom is that you have to replace it with the three-piece intraocular lens or rigid intraocular lens. So here I am doing it a similar way, putting the haptic at 6 o'clock and 12 o'clock of the same foldable intraocular lens rather than removing it. In the first case, I remove the lens and put the three-piece foldable lens. In the second case, I remove the lens and put the rigid intraocular lens. In the third case, I am showing I am removing the lens but replacing the same intraocular lens. So these are few techniques that you can use for these cases. Now I will show you one more technique where you can retrieve the lens, but if you don't have a sulcus enough, then you can resuture the same intraocular lens. This is your unique technique where we don't remove the intraocular lens from the anterior chamber. Keeping the lens in the anterior chamber, you can do the scleral fixation. So first step is similar, that you are doing the core vitrectomy. After doing the core vitrectomy, you are bringing this lens into the anterior chamber. In this technique, we are not removing the intraocular lens from the limbus, so it will help to have a minimum surgical trauma and replacement of the same intraocular lens rather than removing it and then do for scleral fixation. So here we are bringing the intraocular lens into the anterior chamber. The same technique, the handshake technique is done. Although I am not a big fan of doing scleral fixation, but it is there just to show you people the different techniques of removal and replacement of intraocular lens. Here I am bringing the intraocular lens into the anterior chamber. What I will do, so as I will replace it into the anterior chamber, now this is the limbal wound, almost 2.75. I will bring this haptic out and then with the needle I will get a suture through this limbus and tie the suture, rolling suture with the haptic of this lens outside the limbal wound. So you see everything, all the lens is inside but only the haptic is displaced outside from the limbus. So in this technique, you don't need to enlarge the wound to remove the intraocular lens and then resuture it and then replace it behind the iris. So I have brought out the haptic, first superior haptic, and now this is the proline suture that I got it from here. So now I will tie the haptic with the proline suture that we are using 10-0 proline, and after tying it, I will rotate the lens at 6 o'clock. Now the haptic at 6 o'clock will come at 12 o'clock and I will bring out the haptic from the similar wound, and same will be done from the superior limb. So now I am going through the sclera for the superior suture to tie up with the superior haptic. So now I am removing the superior haptic and I am tying in the similar way. So now you see, first suture is from here, second is here. So just after tying it, just dial it and then tie it up from here and here, then your lens will be centered. So this is a technique where you remove, bring it to the anterior chamber. Without removing it, you can scleral fixate it. So if we have a time, okay. If we don't, then I will end up this presentation. I have few more cases where I want to show you a little bit different. So I will go quickly with this one. So here is one more thing. This IOL has a little bit different thing. So this is a foldable intraocular lens, but it has a broken optical area. So sometimes you get the similar situation, so you don't have any other options of intraocular lens. So this is the similar technique where you can replace the same IOL if the optic is good enough, more than 3 or 4 millimeter to visualize the thing. So Here the lens is lying over the optic base, and similarly you can bring it out into the anterior chamber and then replace it. I am doing the anterior vitrectomy to remove the vitreous in the anterior chamber. You can see massive sulcus is present over there, so you can easily replace the similar same intraocular lens over the sulcus area. So here the intention is that you, while bringing it to the anterior chamber, what you can do, you can tear off the sulcus of the anterior capsule that is just a support for placing the intraocular lens. So you should be very careful, and you have to perform this maneuver through the deficient posterior capsule. Because while doing this maneuver, you can tear off all the capsule and there will be no sulcus and you wouldn't be able to do it. So similarly, I am bringing the haptic out through the sulcus area and just bring it behind the iris and refixate it over the sulcus area. So in this case, I am replacing the same intraocular lens, so it is well centered and placed. So these are post-operative. So these are few cases that I wanted to present. All the cases I just tried to show the different techniques that you can remove the lens by cutting from the same wound if you have the possibility, and then you can replace if you have a good capsular support with a foldable intraocular lens. That should be a 3-piece lens or a rigid lens. Then you can remove it and then replace it with a rigid lens. The third option is that you remove the same lens but replace it the same one. Fourth option is that you just bring it to the anterior chamber and you don't have a sulcus port, then you can do the scleral fixation. So these are few techniques that can be done in these cases. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have any question, I am here. Thank you.
Mic